Okay, good evening, viewer and listener. We are extremely sorry to late from our scheduled time. We are with Pieris Pieri from Cyprus. He will introduce himself. We are discussing about Cyprus today. And I will request to Pieris Pieri, you introduce yourself and please explain about our issue today. Floor is Pieris Pieri.
Thank you very much. Good evening on my side. My name is Pieris Pieri. I am representing the Pancyprian Federation of Labour PEO Cyprus, and I would like to thank you for this invitation to participate in this broadcasting, which give us the opportunity to present our country and our struggles as a working class of Cyprus, and also to share our experience with you. The Pancyprian Federation of Labour PEO was established in 1941 and is the biggest, the main trade union in Cyprus, which is active until today. We represent workers in all sectors of the economy, and our main objective is to defend the rights of the workers and also their social rights. PEO is affiliated to the World Federation of Trade Unions, so we are a class-based union. We share the principles of internationalism and class solidarity. We maintain relations and we develop cooperation with a big number of trade union organizations all over the world. On a national basis, we participate in the national committees for the dialogue on labor and social issues. And also we participate in different European committees and also in the annual conference of the International Labour Organization. Regarding the Cyprus situation of the working class and the political situation, I would like to say that we have to fight in two aspects. The one is the political problem with Turkey, and the other one is to defend the workers' rights. On the political aspect, the main objective, our priority as a class-based union, labor movement, is to solve the Cyprus problem and to reunite our country. As you maybe know, Cyprus, since 1974, after the invasion of Turkey, the island is divided. Almost 40% of the territory of our country is occupied by Turkey. And so the main objective is to reunite our country. In this effort, we are struggling with the Turkish Cypriot trade unions, members of WFTU. We are working together to bring together the working class and the progressive forces in both sides, so that we manage to find a solution by communal federal solution in order to reunite the country, and from there on to continue our social struggles to bring peace and justice in our country. The second aspect that we are fighting at the moment, and the second priority for us, is to defend the labor rights, to defend the collective agreements, and to defend also the social rights of the workers and the society in general. For the last 10 years, Cyprus is also suffering the attacks of the neoliberal policies, which are implemented by the right-wing conservative governments. And therefore, we have to fight against the neoliberal policies. we have to fight against the attacks on the social benefits, on the workers' rights. Since 2013, after the bank and the capitalist crisis in Cyprus, as all over the world, Cyprus was under the memorandum, the Troika, which is the European Union, the European Central Bank, and the IMF. And these three institutions imposed, despite our rejection, despite our policies, our positions, they implemented a number of neoliberal policies and attacks on the labor issues, reductions to the pensions, reductions to the social benefits, and also they implemented a haircut on the deposit in the banks. As a result of these policies, the unemployment increased, the wages were brought down, and also there was an attack on the collective agreement and the industrial relations in general. Under this situation, BEO organized the resistance of the workers, of the working class, and we managed to preserve the collective agreements and the collective bargaining system. We managed to save some of the social benefits, and since the last 4 years, we are in a counterattack. Of course, the pandemic caused again a crisis in Cyprus as well, and now we have the consequences of the war in Ukraine after the invasion of Russia. But nevertheless, we continue our struggles. The main priorities at the moment, the main topics that we have in our agenda in Cyprus as a labor movement, BEO, is the minimum wages, the national minimum wage system. It's the COLA system, the cost of living allowance, especially today with the high level of the inflation, which damage the standard of living in Cyprus, of the people in Cyprus. It's the issue of the pensions. We demand a reform in the pensions because Troika implemented a cut in the pensions of 12% in the case that the person decide to retire at the age of 63 and not at 65. So they implement a 12% cut on the pensions, and we demand from the government the changes. And also we are fighting to organize the people, not only the Cyprus workers, the Cypriot workers, but also the migrant workers. We have a number of migrant workers in Cyprus coming from the Asian countries, coming from European countries, coming from African countries. So we are trying to organize these people. Another issue that we are dealing these days, and we are trying to protect the workers, it is related also to the migrant workers, is the implementation of the new forms of employment like platform workers, teleworkers, which are very much vulnerable. And we are demanding from the government to implement legislations, to implement collective agreements, so that we can protect these people. Recently, we had a strike of delivery workers of a platform company delivering food, and the majority of the workers were all migrants. We managed to organize these people. We managed to bring them within the lines of BEO, and together to demand from the company and from the Ministry of Labor to start negotiations to set up, to establish a collective agreement. Because it's a phenomenon that it is expanding in Cyprus, like in all European countries. Also, as I said before, we are trying to establish, and we are demanding from the government for a legislation on teleworking. It is a new form of employment, which it was promoted especially during the pandemic. And we believe that we have to organize and to protect these people, because we know the consequences of the teleworking. So in general, these are the main issues that we are facing today in Cyprus. Of course, all these struggles and all these efforts are organized having in mind the international environment, having in mind the critical situation created by the capitalist crisis that is deepening, especially with the pandemic and the results of the wars, having in mind the imperialist interventions all over the world, the loss of people because of the wars, the refugees because of the wars, the poverty because of the wars, the imperialist wars, and because of the imperialist interventions, the poverty that is increasing because of the neoliberal policies implemented all over the world. But we consider that with the international solidarity, with the support and the experience of the other class-based unions, we can continue. We believe that the struggles in Europe that we are following the last year, the last months, send a message of hope, send message for another pace and not the capitalist one. We believe that the struggles in England, in Greece, in Holland, in Belgium, in Cyprus, we organize struggles. The struggles in France during the last days against the anti-democratic approaches of the government of Macron, they send strong messages. First of all, they send a message of hope for the working class, and they send the message that the working class can do it. We are strongly convinced that the working class united can move forward, and it is possible to change the situation. We have to organize our struggle, we have to coordinate our struggle, we have to come together to share experience, to support each other, to express our solidarity, and to organize these class struggles. In this effort, the main role can play the World Federation of Trade Unions, the WFTU. We consider that the WFTU, during the 78 years of its history, plays a very important role in defending the class interest of the working class all over the world against the attacks, against the capitalist attacks on the trade union rights, defending the issue of peace, standing against the imperialist war, standing against the imperialist interventions. SPO, we are a founder member of WFTU, and we consider and we appreciate very much the role of the WFTU all over the years. And of course, now we are very proud to have the General Secretary of the WFTU coming from Cyprus, coming from the ranks of PEO. In this direction, we take the responsibility to support WFTU, especially in the region, in the continent of Europe, but not only, in order to achieve its objectives and plans. So, in general, this is the picture of Cyprus related to the international and European situation.
Okay, comrade, thank you very much. I have some questions, but before I make my questions, I introduce with Momen, who is our base controller and colleague. He will ask you any question. Momen.
Thank you. Our subject already we declared. Just a minute. Yeah. Yes. Past and future of Cyprus and life of workers in Cyprus. One part you just now finished. So, not just necessary question. The worker's life. It's very important subject. Can you explain in a short time what is the worker's life in Cyprus? Every sector, in health, in communication, every sector. What is the lifestyle and his in worker in Cyprus?
First of all, I want to describe a bit the situation. As I told you before, since in 2013, a memorandum or neoliberal policies were decided and implemented. So there were a number of measures against the workers, and there was an attack against the rights and the wages. So the wages went back. This is the one thing that can be useful for your information about the situation of the working class in Cyprus. Regarding the different sectors, I can tell you that it varies. The situation of the workers varies depending on the sector of the economy. There are sectors of the economy where we have public or semi-governmental companies where the situation of the workers is better. And of course, we have the workers in the private sectors where the situation is worse. And this is the effort that we are putting today. We are demanding from the government that we establish some minimum conditions, some minimum terms of employment for those workers. Like in the case of the delivery workers, or in the factories, or in the retail worker sectors, in the construction, or in the hotel industry. We are demanding from the government to implement a kind of legislation for some minimum articles of the collective agreements, and also to expand the collective agreement in different sectors so that we can protect these workers in these sectors. And the other issue is that we are struggling to protect the collective agreements. As from the 1st of January, it is implemented a minimum wage in Cyprus, a new minimum wage. It was one of our demands, but we are not we are not happy with the result of the minimum wage, and I will explain why. We demanded a minimum wage from the government, which will protect these workers that are not they are not covered by collective agreements, and also. But the government decided to put a minimum wage without defining working hours or a per hour salary. And that's why today we are demanding from the government to start a new negotiation process about the minimum wage. Of course, there is another big issue nowadays, another big issue these days, with what we call the strategy on the employment of workers coming from the third countries. In Cyprus, we have two categories, so to say, of migrant workers. We have people coming from European Union and people coming from third countries like Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, this kind of countries. And until recently, there was a procedure where the trade unions had a say on the approval for the employers to bring these people in Cyprus. The previous government changed this procedure in favor of the employers, and we are challenging this decision because it is unfair. We consider that it is unfair for the people because they will bring the people in Cyprus and will use them as a cheap labor without any conditions, without any collective agreements, without any rights. And for us, it is as a class-based trade union movement, it is a matter of discrimination for us. No matter the ethnicity or the gender or the race of the people, we consider that all people should be treated equal. And this is our demand, because by bringing these people into the labor market, they will exploit the migrant workers on the one hand, and on the other hand, they will use them as a threat to the Cypriot workers, and that will be also a threat to the collective bargaining and the collective agreements. And therefore, we demand from the government to legislate minimum terms of employment on the one hand, and a minimum wage which will be fair for the workers and not for the interest of the employers and the capitalists.
Mohan, you have any questions?
No, not more.
Okay, Comrade, as you told us that there is many immigrants, workers from Europe and Asian countries. So they are included in social security system or without any social security system?
Yeah, this is one of the main issues that we are fighting today, because many people coming from other countries, they don't know the situation in Cyprus. They are forced to leave their countries in order to survive from poverty or wars or other the other issues that we all know very well. We know what is happening in the capitalist world. They are coming here to Cyprus looking for a better life, but they are ready to work for lower salaries, lower conditions of employment. And so one of the issues that we are challenging today and we are demanding from the government is to fight atypical work, undeclared work. There are people that they are not registered in the social security system, and yes, there is a problem. For example, the strike in the company, the delivery company, one of the issues was that there were people working there for very low salaries, and many of them were working without any social security or any other working rights. And that's why we worked with them, we unionized them, and we went on strike demanding better conditions of work and also all their social rights, especially the social security right.
Okay, do you think that PEU will be able to make equality between Cyprus workers and immigrants workers about their salary, equal workers' work rights, and also in health issue? What do you
Uh,
think?
it is a difficult fight, to be honest. It is a difficult fight, but in the capitalist system, there is no other way but to fight. And one of the main decisions which we made during the last General Council of PO 2 weeks ago is to reinforce, to put more effort in organizing the workers in the working places. When we say workers, we mean Cyprus workers or migrant workers. This is the main objective that we set, that we have to organize the people to increase our membership, because as a result of the crisis during the last years, we lost a number of people due to unemployment, due to changes in the labor market. So we have to put more emphasis and to be more decisive in organizing the workers, no matter if they are Cypriot or migrant workers. And also, along with the rights, one of the main issues or one of the main social rights that we have to defend and to demand is the health system. Yes, we have to protect, first of all, the health system coming from the attacks of the private sector and the capitalist interest on the one hand, and on the other hand, to give the opportunity to the people to enjoy the public good of health, because everybody needs to be protected and enjoy health as a public good.
Okay, I'd like to ask you a political question that what was the reason to go to a referendum of Troika in Cyprus? Why it? What is the major problem? It was economical, political.
As you know, in 2008 to 2009, we had the bank, the capitalist crisis because of the banks in first at the beginning in the United States and then in the whole world. Cyprus also affected by this crisis, and in 2013. Because one of the banks in Cyprus was also collapsed, the government decided to apply to Troika for financial support. Unfortunately, at that time, they imposed a very hard program on Cyprus, And in order to give the financial support that we needed in order to recover, they implemented a very hard neoliberal program on Cyprus, and also they implemented a haircut on the savings of the people. The one of the two banks was closed down, so a lot of people and a lot of companies lost their money, and that was a very hard moment for Cyprus, because out of this program, the implementation of this decision to close down the bank, the unemployment rate went up to 17%. It was a very high percentage for the conditions of Cyprus. And it was a very difficult moment for the people of Cyprus and the working class specifically. Of course, after the
Okay, continue, please.
after the first moments, we and the shock, we have to accept that it was a shock for the Cyprus society. We organized our reaction, our resistance. We organized by that time demonstrations against the decision of the Troika. We even invited other unions from abroad to bring their solidarity to our people, to show that we are not alone in that difficult time. Of course, the implementation continues. Unfortunately, the implementation of the neoliberal policies continue, because the government of Cyprus for the last 10 years was in the same line. They had the same political, ideological approaches with Troika. So they implemented the neoliberal policies. Of course, as I said before, we organized our struggles, our resistance. We managed to protect the collective agreements. We managed to protect the COLA system, the cost of living allowance system. We managed to keep it on the table, and now we brought again the COLA system on the agenda, and we managed to protect some other social benefits by giving we made some drawbacks, but now we are on the counter attack, and we are demanding back these rights and benefits.
Okay, comrade, could you explain us shortly about all of those struggle what you have organized? The women was participation and how they was reacted for this fight.
So can you repeat that? I didn't get you. Can you repeat that?
I want to ask you that all of those struggle, all of this what you organized against Troika and for workers' right. What was the participation of women workers in this struggle?
First of all, I want to say that PO, in the structure of the federation, along with the sectoral unions, has specialized departments. One of them is the women's department, which elaborates different issues on gender issues, equality, etc. As a class-based organization, we consider the participation of women in these struggles very important, very much important. And a number of women workers participated in all these struggles. And we are proud to say that recently, in the last Congress, we elected our new General Secretary is a woman. So we are all again in the first. We are the pioneer in the working struggles, having a woman leading our struggles.
Okay, it's good. I know as a European country, there is no discrimination with women and men workers. But you maybe know the Bangladesh, India, and other countries also, third country. There is a prime minister, president also in women, but there is many discrimination between men and women. If you have any kind of dislike like this discrimination against women.
In Cyprus?
Yeah.
Yes, we have. In a capitalist system, the
Okay.
the exploitation and the discrimination, it's always there. But we are struggling every day to eliminate the
Okay.
discrimination. Because
Uh, okay. Continue, please.
yes, so the struggle to eliminate the discrimination between men and women in the working places, in the society in general, yes, it is always a high priority for us because, okay, we have made some steps to be. We have some positive steps on the legislation, on some other institutions. We have managed to achieve them, but in real life, the discrimination is there. And so there is a
Okay.
long way to cover until we achieve the what we want to be the society. It is true that if we compare Europe to other continents, yes, maybe the situation is better for the women, but yet we have to struggle and to organize our struggles in order to achieve the
Okay.
maximum and eliminate the
As
discrimination.
we know that capitalist system can't solve this problem because it necessary to remain in the system to exploitation the workers.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
My question is last one, and then Moment will ask you because how long you can stay with us now?
If we can finish with this question and
Okay, okay. Maybe we have two or three questions more, and then we'll finish, and we'll continue our discussion in future, and we'll discuss about
I
Cyprus detail.
yeah,
Okay,
yes,
Moment,
yes, sir, I want
you
to
will
ask
ask,
a question.
you will
One question.
ask all of your question. Then my last
No, no,
question
I
is,
want to.
uh,
No, no, I just one minute. I want to some about to you. Just say the discrimination of in the working place between man and woman. But what is the government statement regarding the discrimination?
what is there? Sorry, I cannot hear you well. Can you
Also,
repeat?
what is the your government statement regarding this discrimination?
The government
Man and
is
yeah, yes, man and woman discrimination. What is the government statement? Yeah.
the government is as you know, Cyprus is a member of the European Union. So many laws, a great part of the legislation nowadays is coming through directives from the European Union. On a theoretical basis, the European Union declares that with the directives that is announcing is trying to eliminate the discrimination not only between men and women but in general between local and migrant workers, etc. But the one thing is to adapt the laws, legislation, to establish the legislative, um, uh, the legislative, uh, 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 framework of a society, and the other thing is to implement this in real terms, to implement the legislation and to eliminate the discrimination. I was telling you before about the situation with the migrant workers in the delivery company. The social security legislation is there, but still we have employers, we have people that they violate the legislation. The same applies to the situation with discrimination, and there are companies, there are employers that they violate the legislation, and this is where we are. This is our role, to defend the workers' rights and to demand the implementation of the legislation.
Yes, but just say now, European Union have many laws, many rules, and the Cyprus maybe follow those rules. But if any, just now you say any office on any sector have many discrimination and man and woman, so does the government take any action regarding this discrimination?
Yes, in some cases, yes. Because we have the legislation, there is a framework of laws regarding gender inequality issues. But it is possible to bring these cases to the labor court. Yes, because we have a labor court consisted by where we participate as trade unions and the employers as well. It's a tripartite court, this labor court, and it is possible to bring these cases into the court. For example, sexual harassment at work. We have cases. We have brought cases of sexual harassment to the court, and we managed to win the case in favor of the women. Yes, there are cases, but still we have a long way to achieve our objective, to eliminate discrimination, to eliminate sexual harassment at work, and all these issues. Yes, we have a long way to go.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, bhai. Continue, Karan.
Okay, my last question is, can you explain or describe as shortly what was the region Turkish occupation in Cyprus?
Okay. So I will start from the beginning to say that until 1960, Cyprus was a British colony. In 1955, a struggle was organized against this colonial system. In 1960, Cyprus became an independent state. But because of the situation in Cyprus, of the population in Cyprus, we have Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots. It was decided when we declared our independence that United Kingdom, Turkey, and Greece will be guarantee countries for the security of Cyprus. In 1974, there was a coup d'etat against the President Makarios, who was by that time the president of Cyprus. And because of this situation, which this action was against Makarios or was organized by NATO, and it was an imperialistic plan against Makarios, because Makarios was one of the main leaders in the non-aligned movement by that time. He wanted Cyprus to be non-aligned. He was considered that he was enemy of the imperialists by that time. And so when we had the coup d'etat against him in July 1974, a few days later, Turkey, with the excuse that the Turkish Cypriots were in danger, invaded Cyprus. Actually, the division of the island was decided by NATO a few years ago. The invasion and the coup d'etat was organized with the cooperation of the military government of Greece and some people, paramilitary groups in Cyprus. And since 1974, the island is divided in two parts. One part of the northern part is occupied by Turkey, and the south is controlled by the Republic of Cyprus. We are trying to reunite our country. We believe that we have to. We are not. We are against nationalism, chauvinism. One of the main reasons that Cyprus is divided is because the foreign forces, and especially the imperialist forces, they cultivated nationalism and chauvinism between the two communities, the Greek Cypriots and the Turkish Cypriot, the Greek Cypriots and the Turkish Cypriots. But we, SPO, as a left forces and the party of Cyprus again, our party, we believe that we have nothing to share with the Turkish Cypriots, and we are fighting to unite our country in order to continue the class struggles and in order to bring peace and in order to build a new society in our country. We consider that by bringing peace to Cyprus, without a country with no military bases, no foreign armies in our country, will contribute to bring peace not only in Cyprus but in the Mediterranean area as well, having in mind that Cyprus is very close to Middle East and to the Eastern Mediterranean, and you know what is happening nowadays in our neighborhood.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll be able to discuss about all of this issue in future. Now, our moderator, Moment Said, will take over our discussion, and if he has any question, then we will finish our discussion today. Moment.
No, I have not more question. Just I need some information, and he will give me also, and I will repeat my topic. I'm really very sorry for late because there's a storm and the electricity is gone. So so we are already 45 minutes late. So next day we'll arrange the next live, and our friends, our comrades, peers, obviously join with us.
I want
Thank
to,
you so much, peers.
I want to thank
Thank
you
you
very
very much,
much.
Comrade. Very nice to discuss about Cyprus, and we will continue it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.